Hey, good afternoon, everyone. I'm Molly O'Brien here with Go Local Live. Thank you so much for joining us today. We're starting off talking about arts, and so I'm here with Nancy and Ernest. Nancy is with Providence CityArts for Youth, and Ernest is with the Providence Public Schools. So we're talking about some really neat collaboration and new works out there. So let's start off a little bit about CityArts, and you are teaming up with Brown University for some amazing collaboration, and then we're going to get to what Providence Public Schools are doing and new programs and just about new stuff that's happening. So let's talk a little bit about what CityArts is and just what you guys have been doing.
Sure, great. CityArts is a 25-year-old community arts organization which is located in South Providence on Broad Street. We offer after-school programs at the Community Arts Center, and then we also work with middle school students through at the school district, working with mainly Gilbert Stewart Middle School, Del Sesto Middle School, and Roger Williams Middle School. So that's where our connection comes in. And what we do is programs that really help to give voice to the youth who are between the ages of 8 and 14, to help bring curriculum alive, to help students tackle complex texts that they might be learning in school, for them to design ingenious types of machinery, doing STEAM learning in schools, and then also in our program at CityArts to really just explore their identities, who they are as a person, who they are as creators. What we're doing at with Brown University is actually not just a collaboration with CityArts and Brown University, but really importantly is the work that we're doing with middle schools in particular. So what that is Brown University is putting on a performance of Lin-Manuel Miranda's In the Heights, and it starts on Thursday, this coming Thursday at 8 o'clock. And there are a few aspects of like our collaboration that involve the students at Gilbert Stewart Middle School. We had a group of 3 or 4 Brown University students who were in the show coming and giving workshops in Xenia Walker's class. She is like the fabulous drama teacher there. They did a dance workshop, they did a music workshop, and also kind of an acting workshop around community. And this is very much the theme of In the Heights, is about like community and maybe the ways that diverse communities come together.
And so are these workshops important for these children?
I don't know, that might be a question for Ernest. What do you think about workshops, school-based workshops?
These workshops are giving kids an opportunity to express their inner feelings, to find themselves. Ms. Walker has done some very interesting things where she's asked the kids, okay, I want you to find a topic that you're interested in the community. And some of them have been controversial, and the kids took on this whole thing of writing, producing, and editing. And so she's using Google Classroom, and so the kids can actually, as they write, and then somebody will write a comment, I don't think this will work. And so the kids go back and forth, and so it's authentic, and it's kids taking ownership of their own learning, and kids taking responsibility to know what's going on in their community.
And you've said that that Providence Public Schools and CityArts and this particular middle school was chosen for a reason for this production.
Yeah, well, Brown University has had a collaboration with the middle schools, all the drama teachers, for about, I would say, like 4 or 5 years, in which students from pretty much almost all the drama classes in the middle schools have come to Brown for a workshop. This is one example that was online now. Whoop, it just went away.
It'll come back.
Yeah, it'll come back. But that actually was a workshop. The student there in the striped shirt is a student who was at Gilbert Stewart Middle School, and there was a workshop around Shakespeare play that they were doing. So this collaboration has been going on for a really long time. Gilbert Stewart, for this purpose, was chosen partially because Providence CityArts has a group of AmeriCorps volunteers working in the schools, and one of the volunteers, whose name is Ron Lewis, is a theater artist. He also works in Providence at AS 220. He does a lot of wonderful work with the students, and he was working on a program which is very similar to what Earnest describes, where they were telling stories about themselves and about their community, and that is exactly what In the Heights is about. And in fact, Lin-Manuel Miranda created that piece about his neighborhood. And I would venture to say that Washington Heights in New York is very similar to
Some of the elements, yes.
some of the, you know, the neighborhood around Gilbert Stewart. So it really was like a really great opportunity for all of these three entities to come together.
And are you seeing that now children are feeling more comfortable and more confident when they are able to express themselves through arts and through city arts, or through when they have programs in public schools?
This program has been very transformative. We started 10 years ago when I took over as the supervisor for fine arts. And so as I went through the schools, there was a disconnect between what teachers were teaching and what kids were actually doing.
Yeah.
And so I went to the then director, Barbara Wong, for City Arts and asked her, can we bring teachers to do some workshops at City Arts? Well, there was student work all around. And so as the visual arts teachers walked around, they started to see their students' artwork outside of the classroom.
Oh, yeah.
And they were amazed at what quality they were seeing versus what maybe the kids were doing in that classroom, because the artwork that the kids were doing at City Arts belonged to them.
Mm-hmm.
They took ownership of it, they did the techniques. They were listening, they just didn't particularly care to do it in class, but they were doing in life. And so that opened up a dialogue between the teachers in City Arts and New Urban Arts and AS 220 about, well, what do we need to do in the classroom in terms of basic stuff to have them prepared? So, and kids are going out after school doing all kinds of wonderful things. And so that started the whole conversation. And then a few years ago, Barbara Wong said, we would like to come in and work with selected middle schools at 3 schools. And so that program has grown over the last 10 years, or five years.
And it's not just the acting, not just the workshops, but I saw that some of the artist pieces will be on display during the performance at the Brown Theater, right?
Yeah, definitely. And these works were created by young people, I guess between the ages of 8 and 14, who came to City Arts after school from all of their different schools, and they basically went around the neighborhood and looked at some of the shops that they went into, and they took photographs of the shops, they took photographs of themselves, and then they wrote poetry around it. And it's really lovely to see how the poems that the young people created are really so similar to some of the lyrics that are in that people will see in the show when they go see it. So it's really lovely.
And that must be neat as a young person to feel like you have a voice, to feel like you're being heard, to feel like you're on display, that you are being noticed. Because I remember, especially in that middle school time, it's hard, it's tough.
Yeah. I visited one of the theater classes at Stewart, and so when I walked in, a kid was sitting typing, and you could tell that he was slightly agitated.
Yeah.
Because you could hear the keys click, 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 click. And so kids were performing. It was about bullying. And so then the teacher, Ms. Walker, turned and said, what should they be doing now? She said, this is your play. And so after she spoke to me, she said, he had written something, and it was something about, hey, bully. And the way that he had written it, one of the kids called him out and said, someone else said that, so you might need to change that.
Oh.
And so he was like, and they were checking themselves. No, if someone else said it, then you need to give someone else credit for it. So he had to change that, the way he said that. So it was all the kids taking ownership and calling themselves to accountability.
I like that.
And so,
And that's what you need, and to be able to have that unique
Right.
classroom experience, whether in the classroom or whether in an after-school program. So let's talk a little bit about how the new arts policy that was just passed last month in the month of Providence, and really how that's going to affect just the school district, the schools, and how it kind of interacts with City Arts.
well, the new art policy calls one, it makes a statement of what our beliefs are about the arts and the transformative power of the arts. That's the first thing. And it also sets a procedure in place so that we will now start looking at all of our resources. And then as we get resources to address these issues, that we will start to address some of the things, because there's a lot of stuff that we need to get. And one of the most important things is that it calls for a community partnership, that it's public-private partnerships, because we know that we can't do it by ourselves, and we understand and we know that our partners like City Arts, New Urban Arts, AS220, Steelyard, our kids are going there, and they're really having a lot of positive experiences. So we want to make sure we build on that and make that a foundation, so when they leave, because it's like, okay, well, what are you going to learn here? What is the purpose of art in your lives? And so it's transformative, it gives them a voice, it teaches them creativity, it teaches them to think outside of the box. And that's, our hope is that when they leave us, that they're prepared for the 21st century and beyond.
So in a time where other districts, other states are cutting funding for arts, do you feel like Providence is really focusing on arts or working to try to make sure the arts are included?
We are working to improve all of the research. There's a lot of research out there.
Yeah.
It talks about what the arts does in terms of preparing kids to think, to process quantitatively, art and design and creativity. So it's more than just reading and writing, but now they'll have something to read and write about. We want them to be more than just consumers of art, but producers of it. More than consumers of music, but to produce music. And so it's about giving them their voice and sending them on their way.
And with regard to the issue about the resources, that really is a huge challenge, but that is where I think the universities come in, particularly in this case. Brown University has been a really great resource. Having an opportunity for the students to see a show for free or for a very low cost is something that is really terrific. Also bringing in Brown University students who are close to the ages of the young people who we're serving in the middle schools is really exciting for the young kids there. It allows more, talent to come into the schools. And also not only Brown, but City Arts at least has a partnership with Providence College.
Yeah, I just saw that.
Through a photography project. So really, I think what is great about the arts policy is I hope that it provides like a structure in which the Providence Public Schools, plus the community arts organizations, plus also the universities and colleges in the area can all work together. And we need to find a structure in order to bring all of that, under one umbrella. Now things are a little bit scattered, so hopefully with Earnest's leadership in the district, we'll be able to get that done.
And this is such a community that is founded on art, and I mean the creative capital has coined that. It seems like there are outlets and resources to help young people and to be able to express those modes. So being able to have organizations help and to be able to have new policies that are willing to work with different organizations, that seems neat. And especially when students are thriving and wanting to express themselves. So it's neat that organizations are willing to reach out.
exactly. I mean, when you say the, creative capital, that's really where we are. And RISD also is a huge part of that.
Absolutely.
All of it together is one thing, and I think the challenge with the arts policy and in general with arts education in the city is finding a way to kind of bring all of these disparate resources together. Mm-hmm. And this example, I think, within the Heights is a really good one in which, every group does a little bit and together there's, a larger impact.
Wonderful. All right, so if people are interested in seeing In the Heights,
sure.
When can they find it?
Yeah, oh geez. So I don't work at Brown University, but I have some information. The opening night is on Thursday night at 8 o'clock. And it runs Thursday, Friday, Saturday evenings for 2 weeks at 8 o'clock. And then 2 Sunday matinees, this Sunday the 5th and then Sunday the 12th. And they can call the Brown University box office to get information on that.
Wonderful.
So,
Well, thank you both so much.
Thank
and
you.
you have programs continuing. They just started. The winter programs just started up, correct?
Exactly. Yeah. We've got programs both in the schools and then also actually our winter program is ending pretty soon at the end of March, and then we've got a new one coming in April.
Then spring. It felt like spring last week, right? So we have winter, we have spring, whatever season it is. All good time to express yourself through arts. Thank you both so much. We have Nancy and Ernest here with City Arts and with Providence Public Schools. Thank you both so much for joining us here at the Navigate Credit Union Broadcast Center. I wish you both the best, and thank you for